Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. And after a couple of weeks off, well, we had Bloodstock, then we had all the work that came after Bloodstock, and then we had real life catching up with everything. So yeah, a couple of weeks without a battle reaction, but we are here now, ready to hit you with a new one. This is Brendan's choice, and he can fill you in.
Yep, straight back into it with a near, 7.5 minute long number.
Yeah.
So I don't really know an awful lot about this band pre this year. So this is an album that come out this year. I'm kind of, getting back into the swing of the battle reactions by playing it. Probably relatively safe. Well, almost definitely relatively safe on this first one here. So death/black metal came out earlier on in the year via Prosthetic Records. I didn't know the band prior to it. I don't know much about them outside of this. I don't know if this is, I don't think this is like a debut album or anything like that. I just remember listening to it, thinking it was fucking awesome. And it being one of my earliest in the year kind of, like high scorers. They're an American band, California based. Oh, it is there you go. Sorry, it is their first album. It's their debut album then.
Yeah, I've just pulled up your review all the way back in 29th of January this year, so a lifetime ago.
Features members from Ashen Horde and other bands.
Catheter and Viminia. Okay, so yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really like the album a lot. I have my little kind of best of 2022 kind of playlist that I just kind of put the tracks and stuff that I like in there. And it's not the only album this year, but it's one of the few albums in there that pretty much every track from the album made it in. But the one that I go back to the most often is this song Sunless, because while it is death/black metal, I also think it's quite different at points. I think they don't stay within the box very, very much, which I quite enjoy. So
yeah, I mean, your wording of, is this a potential safe one? It sounds like it, because Death and Black, it's all stuff I like, and you saying they don't stay in the box. Well, that just makes it sound even better, because nothing's more boring than a 3.5 minute black metal blast. So anything that's different is always exciting. I don't know him. Definitely haven't listened to this album. Didn't even recognize the name. So yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go. Coming a mile away.
It might be one of those videos that at the end of it we're like, we don't really know what's going on in the video.
It's Earth, but decaying. But not really. I like the vocals, throw away. Lyrics. Oh, the drumming might be the star of this show.
Traditionalists would be killing it right now, man.
I wonder what you were doing there.
The end.
The end in Indeed, it certainly feels that way as well because it is a fairly lengthy track. Although I wouldn't necessarily say it felt like it was 7 odd minutes. I think around minute 6, I thought we were getting to a wrapping up point, and we had an extra like minute and 10 to go. Right, there were times during that, and I don't know if it necessarily is fair or like fits. So I have to kind of go back in my mind to make this work. I was like, why is this at times? And it's mainly to do with the more guttural vocals than the deeper ones. And it reminded me slightly of Dimmu Borgir. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense because there's nothing symphonic about this. So the only way I can make it work in my head is I'm talking about a very early Dimmu Borgir, Stormblast, that kind of thing, when it was less symphonic and more black metal. But this is a smoother and better produced version of that kind of black metal, because that shit was rawer. This is smoother and more polished. So I got that from it. The best thing about it is the drumming. That is it. There's some wickedly heavy drumming. There's some really clever patterns, some really interesting stuff. It's immediately when my ears perked up on at the start, and then when it started to get a bit heavier in the first minute or two, easily noticeable. I really like the deeper vocals. The first vocals that appear in the song, it's not the guttural side, but there's obviously there's 3 vocal styles now. You get a deeper one, then you've got this classic black metal one, and then you've got a cleaner side to the deeper one that comes later on. So it's quite a nice little variety.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just a video that was matching up to it, but I started to think, it's got a bit of like a dystopian sound. It feels suitably dark and depressing in that aspect as well. Some of the guitars are very off kilter. You're right about the sort of out of the box thing. While there is some very notably obvious black metal standardized stuff there, I don't necessarily think it was consistently that. There was enough weird things going on. And weirdly, aside, take the guitars out of it, I would say it was a very predictable track in the sense that I don't think I've ever heard this, but I swear there were moments where I was like, okay, and here comes that boom and that kind of thing. But I don't think necessarily in a bad thing either, because like it was made it more enjoyable for me. Obviously, cool imagery in the video. It's a good video. It goes along with the feel of the track as well, like that. All good. It's a very good black metal song with one fault. Just one that I came to at the end. I'd forget about this tomorrow. It lacked a hook, something that made me go, oh, that's it. The simple thing. I think, man, when I hear that and heard that, that's a great track. That's a very good track. It's an interesting black metal track, probably on an album that's full of very interesting music. And I'd enjoy it while I'm hearing it. But would I remember, unless I put it as you did in a playlist or something, would I remember tomorrow to go, oh yeah, listen to that track? I'm not sure if I would. That's the only thing I've got negative to say.
Sacrilege. No, I mean, it's weird, like, I guess, because what we kind of get like both almost directly opposite things from it. So,
Okay.
like, obviously, I'm not saying that I disagree with anything you're saying. Like, obviously, I think the drums are great and all that, that's a kind of given. I also quite like the, excuse me, the imagery in the video. I hadn't seen the video before, so that was a first. And I guess the song being called Sunless, and at the end, like it does kind of have that dystopian sort of feel to it. But the things that I fell in love with the track about were, all right, there was the vocals first of all, but not just that one vocal side, but it was that contrast. I like the fact that it was going the 2 different tones, then the clean, then the 2 different tones playing off, and there's only one vocalist, so.
Really? That's incredible.
So I quite enjoyed that, the fact that the range, and it was kind of like coming in, like you said at the beginning, it is clearly black metal, but I find some of this, like for example that opening verse and that kind of slower sort of thump, and it's got a bit of groove to it, and he is doing growled vocals, but it's actually quite clear and concise. And if you had your headphones on proper and you were listening to it up loud and that, you can hear pretty clearly what they say throughout the whole song, like lyrically.
Yep, I think that's fair. Yep.
Yeah, which I quite enjoyed. But for me, like the biggest kind of takeaway from it actually, and the bit that every time, I mean, aside from little moments, right? Firstly, I think the guitar solo section is fucking great. I really, really like that. And I like there's moments in it, little moments like that little kind of bass thing that it does in that last bit where I was getting like excited because every time I hear that I'm like, oh, that's so cool. But for me, the biggest takeaway that I took out of it, and I still do every time I listen to the song, is actually at near the end, around that 6-minute mark, when it's, I guess, if I was being hypercritical, you think you've heard everything that it's got. It's good. I'm enjoying it a lot, but like, it feels like maybe this is, like you said, coming to the point where they should just end it. But then it does the thing that I love the most, and that is it suddenly switches back into that opening verse, that stompy kind of beat and those vocals again from the verse. So it goes back all the way around in a loop.
It's a nice bookend,
and ends like that again. And to me, I was like, that's the hook, that's the fucking selling point, that's the payoff that I get at the end of it. We get back all the way around to that, and then we end with that. So one of those things, isn't it? Happens a lot. Happens with music, doesn't it? You take different things out of it, and
well, of course, but then there's no suggestion that this is a loss. That's why I started with all the positives, because I wanted it to stress that I think it's an incredibly good song. It really, really is. It's it's one of those where hopefully if I do remember, or it comes back on again in whatever way it is, I'm going to go, oh, that's very cool. If the band are in existence still, e.g. they're going to be doing stuff and all that, if I saw the name pop upon a festival lineup or a show lineup as a support band, that kind of thing, I'd be interested. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the guys that did Sunless, like that kind of thing, and so on. And even now, like, I almost feel like, all right, I'm saying like, all right, for me it lacked a hook, something that make it that super memorable for me. But I don't, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker because there are 100,000,000 songs I've heard over the years that are good songs but don't have that hook necessarily, and it's just like, that's fine. It's a good song. I don't keep saying good, it's a great fucking song. I'm gonna stop saying good, because I don't know, when I start thinking like tier list and good is in the middle and I want it to be higher than that, it's fucking great, that kind of thing. So it is a win on that basis.
I kind of, like I said, it was a safe one in that respect, like it's such a stupid thing to say as a marker, like I was going to say, to prove how good this song is, right? So this is a debut album, full length anyway. I think it says on that website they had a single or so out beforehand, so it's a debut full length album. While there are other choices, I use Apple Music. For debut albums from like barely known bands from any corner of the world, it doesn't matter where, the one thing I never get on Apple Music is that lyric button being active. It's like, ain't no one's bothered putting the lyrics in for any of these fucking songs.
Fair enough.
But this one's got them.
I was looking for the lyrics at the start as well. Okay, that's cool. You're right, that's actually a rare thing, especially looking at a video here on Prosthetic Records official channel that has 2,784 views. So that will give you some idea of the kind of a known quantity that around this band. But they are a quality band, clearly, but they're also on a quality label. So they, Prosthetic Records knows what they're doing in regards to this. It is a win. It's a good return on that front. As you said, safe, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
What do you think of Abhoria's Sunless? Do you agree with me, it lacks a hook? Do you agree with Brendan that it's got an immense one? Either way, it's a win. So let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?